facts to follow. So everybody buy an extra token and get us to that $2 million goal. So donate to everyone. My name is Jamie Stark. I'm Executive Director of Farming Hope. We're a farm-to-table job training program. And so we employ and empower formerly incarcerated and homeless individuals to grow, cook, and serve food. So we have a problem, and we see it every day. This city has 75 billionaires and 7,500 homeless folks. Of those homeless folks, 30% recently surveyed said that a lack of a job directly led to their homelessness. And yet, every restaurant, every grocery store in the city has a sign in the window that says help wanted. My co-founder and I met shucking corn at the Stanford farm, which is why we have the corn shirts. You noticed that. And we started talking about how we'd seen food as a very powerful tool for justice in these other nonprofits that we had worked with. We took some classes and got a design thinking grant to research this. And when we talked and interviewed homeless folks, service providers, it became apparent with everyone involved there was a need to be needed. The most successful cases of folks getting out of homelessness were those who had been given ownership and leadership in the organizations that were supporting them. So Farming Hope grew out of that solution, that idea of growing leaders. And we grow leaders in two ways. One is job training. Two is community building. So job training, we have a 12-week program at our urban garden and restaurant in the Mission. We pay apprentices $15 an hour from their first day on the job. And we work with hiring partners to get full-time jobs after graduation, partners like tech cafeterias like Thumbtack, grocery stores like Whole Foods. For the second component of growing leaders, the community building, we have community dinners. We created a welcoming restaurant space where we serve nourishing organic food. And we created a space where people can break bread together across boundaries. Because who among us is going to be able to reduce homelessness at all if we're not next to any conversation with people who are actually experiencing it? A lot of people ask why I do this, and for me the answer is pretty easy. It's the food leaders I get to work with every day. The people I work with probably know how to grow food and cook healthier food than almost anybody in this room. So I get to work with people like JC. JC was referred by his parole officer. He used to call me Mr. Ice Cream Man because when I was stressed, I would go into the kitchen and go in to get some ice cream out of the freezer. And he's since graduated, got a full-time job as a landscaper, and takes his kids to the farmer's market to teach them what he learned at Farming Hope. He told me that Farming Hope helped unlock in him this passion that he had forgotten about since he was a child, that he really liked to cook for people. And so Ronnie has since graduated, and we hired him back on staff as a lead line cook so that he could mentor people who were coming through the program to have the level of success that he's achieved. Last year, we were able to hire and train 16 apprentices, 16 leaders like Ronnie and JC, and 60% of them kept their job, their full-time job, 6 months or more after graduating. This year, we're ahead of schedule to hire and train 20 apprentices, and so far, 100% have kept their jobs post-graduation. So, I think what's unique about our nonprofit is that we pay all our participants, and so I have to raise the cash to pay these direct wages. So this summer we launched our first crowdfunding campaign. We're raising $63,000 to pay, that's what it costs to hire and train those 20 individuals over this year. And every dollar donated tonight is going to go directly toward that campaign. You might also be asking, okay, how do I get involved? And with Farming Hope, the answer is easy. You eat. Come to our restaurant, Manny's in the Mission. Try our food, meet our apprentices, meet Ronnie. You can volunteer in the garden. You can donate. When you donate tonight, every $15 is another hour that I can pay and train an apprentice like JC. So my closing is I just want to let you guys all know that you are needed by your neighbor, and that's what makes someone a leader, is when they recognize that they have needs, that they need their neighbor, but that you can also make the choice to give and provide for the needs of others. So thank you all.
Thanks so much. So if the folks you're working with are marginally housed or at risk to begin with, do you assist with housing during the training program, or is that not really a barrier? And I don't know.
No, it's a huge barrier. We don't. We're small and purposefully partner with other agencies who refer clients, and those agencies help with the housing. Their social workers handle that. So primarily work with Episcopal Community Services, Downtown Streets Team, Back of My Feet, and citywide from UCSF.
Great, that was my question. So, what would you ultimately see as success for your organization? You know, obviously you have established mission of, it sounds like, helping to end homelessness or economic justice. How would you know that you have accomplished that mission? What would need to be different? What would need to be changed?
Yeah, I think to put us out of business, everyone who wanted a job and needed one would have to have one. And I think we can get a lot closer to that point, especially in an economy like the Bay Area.
So what are your short-term, say, the next 1 to 2 year goals, and looking way ahead, 7 to 10 or even more, out? Maybe it's not being in business, which would be wonderful, but I'll let you answer those short-term versus long-term goals.
So short-term would be to open more hubs of the model that we've been able to do with Manny's. So we rent a restaurant from this event space called Manny's, and that's enabled us to open like a restaurant more quickly in our first 3 years. And so we're actively searching for more partners to provide more kitchen space. More kitchen space means we can hire more people, provide better training, and hopefully start a catering business so that we can generate more revenue and have more training positions that way. So in the way that we found Manny's as a landlord partner for our first site, we want to find more partners, like potentially some of these larger nonprofits like Episcopal Community Services or Lutheran Social Services, to host more first floor retail venues and spaces where we can have kitchens and hire more people.
And obviously real estate is really expensive here in San Francisco.
Yes.
So I imagine that's a pretty significant barrier to that business plan. So how are you going to overcome that, and or have you thought about expanding outside of San Francisco?
Yeah, I think that's the key to partnership. So Manny's, where we operate, it's an event space, a bookstore, and our restaurant, and like those 3 businesses in one location allows for the rent to get paid easier. So I do not want to go out and rent my own place all to ourselves. I want to partner with organizations that can offer essentially cheaper rent because of the form of the partnership. We haven't solidified any next partnership, which is why I'm still searching for that, but it is too expensive to go on it at your own. And I do hope that we can, with Manny's and then future locations, create a model where people can look at it and say, this is needed in our neighborhood, and we can connect the people to work on it and some of the resources, and then start more in cities outside of San Francisco. For now, we're focused on San Francisco.
So as part of the organization, are you also then running a restaurant? Meaning you have a front of house, back of house, all the things that have to happen to run that kind of business?
Yes, we don't run the front of house, we just run the back of house for food prep, and we're open 7 days a week for breakfast and lunch, brunch on the weekends, so it is a lot of work, but it allows for more hours and training positions for the apprentices by like sort of fully utilizing that space every day.
And it seems to me like employment and job development are well funded by the government, and so I'm just curious, are you solely seeking funds from private donors, or are you also looking to city and federal grants to support your work?
We have stayed away from government funding. We're too small for the reporting that's required. There's practically have to use the grant to hire a new person to fill out the paperwork. And we've had a lot more success. 45% of our funds come from food sales. Most of the rest comes from private foundation grants, and then some of it comes from our annual giving campaign. This year it's the crowdfunding campaign.
Thank you.
Thanks.